Landman Season 2, Episode 6 is the kind of episode that quietly rewires the entire season. On the surface, it looks like another chapter in Tommy Norris' ongoing struggle to keep MTEX afloat while juggling family, politics, and his own pride. But by the time the episode ends, it's clear that something much bigger has shifted. An unexpected rivalry emerges, not just as a source of tension, but as a catalyst that forces every major character to reveal who they really are when control starts slipping away. What makes this episode work so well is how patient it is. Instead of opening with explosive conflict, it lets the rivalry simmer. You can feel it forming in the pauses, the side glances, the conversations that sound cooperative on the surface, but are loaded underneath. Landman has always been strongest when it understands that power struggles don't begin with shouting matches. They begin with subtle repositioning. Episode 6 leans fully into that idea, and the result is one of the season's most consequential hours. At the center of it all is Tommy, who once again finds himself underestimating how vulnerable his position really is. As MTEX's president, he's trying to project authority and confidence, but this episode makes it painfully clear that his power is conditional. The rivalry that takes shape isn't just about business, it's about legitimacy. Someone else is quietly proving they can operate just as effectively, if not more so, without Tommy's approval. That realization rattles him, and Billy Bob Thornton plays it beautifully, letting the insecurity leak through without ever turning Tommy into a caricature. What's especially compelling is that this rivalry doesn't come from an obvious villain. There's no mustache-twirling antagonist here. Instead, it's born from competence, ambition, and conflicting visions of how MTEX should survive. That makes it far more dangerous. When Tommy clashes with external enemies, he knows how to fight back. When the threat comes from someone who understands the system just as well as he does, and may even be better suited for it, the ground shifts beneath him. Cammie's role in this episode is quietly devastating. She's no longer just reacting to Tommy's decisions, she's actively reassessing them. The rivalry forces her to confront a truth she's been avoiding. Loyalty doesn't automatically equal wisdom. As she watches Tommy struggle to adapt, you can see her calculating, weighing risk against stability, and asking herself whether standing by him is still the safest option for MTEX, or for herself. The show never spells this out explicitly, but the tension in her scenes makes it unmistakable. Galino's shadow looms large over everything, even when he isn't the focal point of a scene. Episode 6 reinforces the idea that Galino doesn't need to dominate the room to control it. His influence is felt through leverage, timing, and the way others begin to orbit around his resources. The emerging rivalry only strengthens his position because division within MTEX creates opportunity for him to tighten his grip. The episode subtly suggests that Galino isn't just watching the chaos, he's benefiting from it. One of the smartest choices the episode makes is tying the rivalry directly to character flaws rather than plot mechanics. This isn't about contracts or land deals alone. It's about ego. Tommy's belief that he can be both president and landman without consequence finally meets resistance. The rivalry exposes how stretched thin he is, and how that strain creates openings for others to step in. Instead of adapting, Tommy doubles down, and that stubbornness becomes his biggest liability. The ripple effects extend beyond the boardroom. Family dynamics feel sharper in this episode, particularly in how Angela reacts to Tommy's stress. She sees what he refuses to acknowledge, that he's fighting battles on too many fronts. Angela's perspective adds emotional weight to the rivalry because it reminds us that Tommy's professional failures don't exist in a vacuum. Every bad decision follows him home. Every loss of control bleeds into his personal life. Landman excels when it shows how business corrodes intimacy, and episode 6 leans into that theme hard. Visually and structurally, the episode mirrors its narrative tension. Scenes are tighter, conversations are more clipped, and there's a noticeable lack of release. Even moments that should feel like victories come with an asterisk. That constant unease reinforces the idea that the rivalry has already changed the rules of the game. No one gets to feel comfortable anymore, especially not Tommy. Perhaps the most impressive thing about episode 6 is how irreversible it feels. This isn't a rivalry that can be smoothed over with a compromise or a handshake. Too many lines have been crossed internally, even if they haven't been acknowledged out loud yet. Trust has been eroded. Authority has been questioned. And once that happens, there's no going back to the old version of MTEX. By the time the episode ends, it's clear that Landman has entered a new phase. Season 2 is no longer just about survival, it's about succession, whether anyone is ready to admit it or not. The unexpected rivalry doesn't just heat things up, it reframes the entire power structure of the show. It forces characters to choose sides, reassess alliances, and confront uncomfortable truths about themselves. Season 2, Episode 6 stands out because it understands that the most dangerous conflicts aren't loud. They're quiet, strategic, and rooted in human weakness. This episode doesn't just move the plot forward, it tightens the noose around its characters and dares them to struggle. And in doing so, it delivers one of Landman's most compelling and transformative episodes to date.